My name is Sandrine. I'm from Imaginary Publishers. As we are celebrating 9 years of our anniversary, today we have some of our authors with us to talk about the journey, to connect with you, and all the good things. Today I have with me Karen Bugingo, the author of My Name is Life, and of course Mr. Claver Irakoze, the author of Transmitting Memories in Rwanda and That Child Is Me. I'm not going to talk a lot about them, they will talk about themselves. As we go on today, I want you to welcome them with a warm welcome, wherever you are. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Before we start, I want you to complete my sentence. I write because
I like to share.
Yeah. I write because
I like to inspire.
That's really nice. Some people say I write because it generates money.
Oh.
Isn't that the case? So today I want us to talk about your journey with Imaginary Publishers, but as authors, your success stories, your challenges, all the struggles and good things that happen along your way as writers and authors. But before we start again, I want to play a game with you. So I want to start with Claver. This is a deeper conversation card published by Imaginary. Okay. I want you to pick a card randomly, and I'm gonna pick a card, and I'm gonna ask you a question, and feel free to answer the question.
Okay.
If it's too much, feel free to skip.
Okay.
Oops. So the question says, when do you feel worried or sad? What's one thing that is guaranteed to lift your mood? When you feel sad or worried, what is that one thing that's guaranteed to lift your mood?
Without any doubt, that is music.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind?
Slow music. Jazz.
Yeah.
These oldies.
Right.
Yeah.
And for you, Karen, what are you most certain about in life? What's one area of your life where you have very little doubt?
My current career as a businesswoman.
Tell us more.
I have no doubt that I am doing what I'm doing and that I'm self-employed, because that's something I've always wanted ever since I'm young. So the fact that I'm living it right now, I have no doubt that it's what I want to do, and yeah.
Well, one last round. Claver, when do you feel most connected to your family?
I'd go for our time at home, especially in the weekends when we are, my wife and I, when we come together with our kids to prepare either breakfast, lunch or dinner. So being in the kitchen, one doing one thing, doing something else, our kids helping.
Yeah.
So those little moments really bring us together, and I feel connected and happy.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Yeah. Really. One last question for you, Karen. When do you feel most relaxed and at peace with your life?
When
These are deep.
when I'm taking care of my mental health. So let's say if I'm like at a spa or at a staycation, basically when I'm doing something that helps my mental health, that's when I am at my best.
That's really to note. Really. Right, thank you so much. We're gonna dive right into it. I have questions I'm gonna ask our authors, and they're gonna answer them, and hopefully it's gonna be of a help to you viewers who are watching this. Claver, you are the author of That Child Is Me and transmitting memories in Rwanda. Two of the most successful books here in Rwanda. But they both talk about, our bitter past of 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. What are some of the criticism you have received from the readers of your book? And how did you go about that?
I wouldn't say they are criticism. They were a kind of feedback. So the two books are in English so far. And many people wanted to have these books in Kinyarwanda. And this is one of the challenges we go through as authors, because when we write, especially those who write about our history and the genocide against the Tutsi in particular, we are faced with people denying the genocide. And we see a lot of deniers from the West, and when we write, we want to share, we want to communicate. And so we are caught in this dilemma of which language should we use. Because the whole journey has a lot of challenges, including financial challenges. My two books were in English. I'm working hard to have them in Kinyarwanda and French. But I would say so far that was the kind of feedback that I got. The second one is when people read and say, oh, we wish you could have talked about this event or that event. And again, it comes back to the history. This history is too, big.
Vast, yeah.
Too vast. You cannot put everything in one book. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Especially when it is about your story. We've got to structure what we tell people, okay? I hope I will write more books, and so the feedback I received from readers are helping me to kind of plan for my next project.
Right.
Yeah.
And for you, Karen, what sparks your passion for writing? I mean, if I know I'm correct, because I'm one of the team that helped publishing your book. We've sold over 3,000 of your copies worldwide. So I want to know everybody wants to know what sparks your writing, your passion for writing.
So what sparked my passion for this particular book was my story, obviously, and the fact that I thought I had a story and a message to share. And I felt like I needed the world to understand, to raise awareness, to inform. So that's the main two things that sparked my passion for writing this particular book. But in my usual life of writing, when I write a few things here and there, it's sparked by wanting to share and inform of my current. I just like sharing and informing. Just as I'm informed, I just want to transmit the information one way or another.
And as for you, Claver, I mean, you have two books. That's not something easy to do. Writing can be hectic, can be tiring. I want you to tell us a moment where you felt like you were going to give up. Like, this is it, I can't do this anymore. But then you did, of course. You see the results. And what made you be like, I have to keep going? Yes, please.
The very difficult time was for my second book.
Right.
Because it took many months to get published. I released my first manuscript to the publisher, initially Blue, in February 2020, before COVID, and took 9 months for them to send me their feedback. And when I sent the manuscript, I was like, I hope this is done, the book is going to come out. But when I received their feedback, not only I had to write 2 more chapters, but also I had to go back into the manuscript and work on their comments. And when you write, it is not, how can I put it? It is not your head writing, it is your heart. Okay, you are sharing your life. You are reflecting about events that happened in your life and things you see. So my heart was very full. I was like, no, I can't do this. But again, writing requires commitment, determination. There was no way I was going to leave this work that I had been working on for 4 years, because I started the book, writing this book in 2016, the summer of 2016. So by Feb 2020, it was already almost 4 years.
Right.
So that gave me courage, to continue. I wrote the 2 chapters, I worked on the comment, then I sent the manuscript back to the publisher. 3 months later, the manuscript was approved. And then it took almost 6 to 8 months for the book to be published. And the crazy thing is, when the first publisher, Brill, published the book, it was very expensive, £100. And when I wrote, what I had in mind was writing to share, to inspire my fellow survivors, Rwandans in general. And I was like, no one is going to buy a book of £100.
Yeah.
That's how I connected with Martin Wee and discussed a co-publishing license. And the book came from £100 to 20k Rwandan francs. And at that moment, I was very satisfied. I would also say that writing is so hard, but when you have friends around, surrounding you, encouraging you, it helps. In my case, for the second book, I was with Caroline, my co-author. I would produce the first draft, and then she would help with, editing. And that back and forth, in a way, gives you courage to carry on. When you write and somebody says, this is interesting, you should carry on, then it gives you courage to, to continue.
Yeah, and as for you, Karen, you are a mom. How do you manage to invest, your time into writing, and of course parenting, motherhood thing? So walk us through that. How do you manage your time?
So fortunately, when I was writing My Name is Life, I was a very single woman, living my best life in Kigali. But I can't imagine how it would have worked. I think I would have to make a lot of sacrifices. Not that I didn't make sacrifices then, but it would have been a very big task. But life is all about balancing.
Yeah.
And I think I would just, because it's something that I really wanted to do, what I would have done is set time apart, like the way I set time currently for my business, for my career. I think it would have to fit in and find time for it. Though I do think it would have taken longer now than it did. It took us about 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
I think it would have taken longer, which would have been okay because, life happens and you just have to give yourself grace and make things happen when in the right time.
Whew. So many things to unpack. Let's, guys, you're talking so deeply. Let's loosen up. Let's play this small game. I mean, I'm sure viewers are taking notes. But Karen, I want you to choose. I'm just gonna say words and you're gonna choose one. Which resonates with you the most. Hot water, cold water?
Cold water.
City or village?
City.
City girl. Under 30, above 30?
Above 30.
Old woman. But yeah. Third floor, huh? Clever. I'm just gonna say, would you rather? And you tell me again what resonates with you. So would you rather be able to swim like a fish or run like a cheetah?
A big cheetah.
Right?
The speed, the power.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe but fishes can swim.
Tenacity of a cheetah when it is hunting.
I think it's the fastest animal on earth.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you rather never have to sleep again or never have to eat again?
I'd go for never having to sleep because that gives me more time to connect, more time to,
I mean, who
do
would
many
give up
things.
on eating? Honestly. Would you rather give up shaving your hair or brushing your teeth?
Brushing my teeth is something I can't, avoid,
Right,
It gives you confidence.
right. What about
And
the
it
hair
helps
though?
you. Well, we are choosing between
I
the two,
know.
right? So confidence,
Yeah.
connecting, smiling, laughing. You can't do that when you're not,
Comfortable.
yeah.
All right. So, Karen, what would you say your book, the message that your books give to your readers? What would you say? How has it impacted, the readers of your book?
So at first when I was writing the book, what I had in mind was to educate, to raise awareness through just sharing a story. But what it has brought and the feedback I've received from the readers is a message of hope. I have shared that you can be in one situation and it takes a chunk of your life, but then you can come out of it and you can make something out of yourself. Often we think that once you've gone through a tragic moment or part of your life, then your life is over, or that after that, life is going to be much harder to navigate. But my book and my current lifestyle, because I'm very active on social media, people can see the book and they can read about me in the book, and then they can see how my situation was turned around, and that brought a message of hope. Right. So it's a message of hope because in the book I'm talking about my story as having cancer and being going through the treatment, but someone can be going through a different situation that is just as challenging. So a message of hope.
So Claver, we published 2 of your books, and I want you to tell us what was the journey like? Walk us through your journey publishing with Imagine Me. Yeah.
For the first book, I remember it was in 2019. I came to your office somewhere around end of January. This first book was really hard, very hard, because I was writing for kids, young kids. And I knew Imagine We was very invested in publishing children's books. But I remember first 2 to 3 sessions, I was struggling to explain the whole story. Why? Because I was trying to reconnect with that child in me, to be able to write about that child is me. So expressing the ideas I had, describing events that are in the book in a manner that are less traumatic or are going to be less traumatic to these kids, took time. And I remember the first 2 sessions were really quite intense, not only for me but also for you as you're listening and trying to help. But in the end, we did it.
Yeah.
The book came out on 9th of April.
Yeah.
And when I saw the book, I was very happy. So that journey was, some ups and downs in terms of digesting the content, digesting the images, and trying to think about kids, these kids who will read the book. For the second book, I already mentioned how useful it was again to work with Imagine Me, especially on the cost side, because I really wanted the book to be available and accessible to as many people as possible. So coming from 100 pounds to 20k, a good quality, as you see, was very, very good, and I'm very thankful.
All right, thank you so much, guys. As we wrap up, we cannot go without giving an advice to our viewers, to your readers, someone who wants to become an author like you, someone who has that kind of dream, with one, like in one word or one sentence. I want you to advise the people who are watching you. What would you tell them? What does it take? How would they become author? Let's start with you, Karen.
I think being an author is like starting a business. You just have to do it, because you won't know the outcome unless you try and take that leap of faith. And the good thing with authorship, there is a group of people to support. They're editors, they're publishers, so you have a support system. Because sometimes someone can think, and I had the same thought as well, to think that in order to publish or to take my book to the publishing house, I need to perfect it, I need to articulate, I need to write, but that's the job of an editor. Basically what I need to bring to the table is a good storyline as well as some sort of a manuscript. So I would advise someone who's looking into writing to write your manuscript, write your heart out. If you're sharing a personal story, write your heart out. If you're thinking of maybe just sharing a story, write, and be brave enough to take it to a publisher, because I feel like people are scared of publishing houses, because you know when you're a writer, you're scared of being critiqued and like the comments or being discouraged, but that's not what a publishing house does. It's to encourage you and to push you. So yeah, just do it.
What about you, Claver?
I would just borrow your sentence, just do it. But on top of that, it requires courage, determination and commitment, because along the way, sometimes you feel empty, you feel like, is this worth sharing, or should I continue? So that commitment, because we are doing this job on top of many other jobs we have, you know. It is not like we are authors for, you know. So you have a lot to do, and you better stay committed to the journey of writing. So whoever is watching and is wondering what he or she should do, just start writing, okay? And just do it.
Just do it. With heart right, just do it. I want to thank you so much for being with us. If you have comments, if you have questions, the authors are here. They will leave their contact down below to contact them, if that's okay with you guys. And then they'll be able to help you, mentor you, because again, writing should be a career. Like, why not? Thank you so much for being with us. I thank our authors for also being with us. We have different books with their work. My name is Life, and that child is me, and Transmitting Memories. That's the author himself. And you can find these books in different stores. Chase Library, you can find them at Akajura National Park, you can find them at the airport, and you can also find them on Vuva Vuva, so they can be delivered to your doorstep. Thank you so much, and see you next time.